Hey guys, welcome to our review of The Black Phone. This is a supernatural horror film that I've seen a ton of trailers for. Was kind of excited to see it. Blumhouse, directed by Scott Derrickson, screenplay by the same guy, and C. Robert Cargill. And the premise is essentially a bunch of children are going missing in a Colorado town, and there's a sister and a brother, and the sister seems to have, you know,
she's a schmedium.
She's a schmedium, and unfortunately, her brother gets captured by Ethan Hawke. Not
the
Ethan
grabber.
Hawke. I'm sorry.
His name is the Grabber.
The Grabber, and he is like a magician with black balloons. And we've seen in the trailers, there's this room that he keeps him in, and in the room is a telephone. And this telephone will ring, and he hears the voices of, you know, his past dead children helping him to get out of this thing. And that was basically what we saw in the trailer. So I thought, interesting premise. It's actually based on a short story that came out in 2004 of the same name by Joe Hill. And so they adapted it for the screen.
Did it get postponed?
I feel like we had watched this trailer so many times. Yeah. But overall, so yeah, that's the premise. And I'm going to kick it to you guys first.
I actually really like this film. This is one of the better Blumhouse films, in my opinion. It was well shot. The actors did a great job. The kids, I really believe their connection.
The kids were great actors.
Ethan Hawke's character was fucking intense. He really portrayed that very well. And I liked the tension that actually led up to some good jump scares as opposed to some cheap ones. This is a good film.
Yeah, I think this is super solid. You know, there's a lot of times you have a cast that's, you know, led by a large group of children. There's usually going to be like a weak link or something. Didn't notice it at all. Like these are kids.
Right.
This is well directed. They definitely got like the best performance out of the kids. So that was great. Ethan Hawke always does an amazing job. So I like the story. I think it was tense, and you know, it's not the best horror thing I've ever seen, but it's super solid. Like
it's a solid one.
One of the better ones recently.
Yeah. You know, we actually know, we are friends with somebody who knows one of the screenwriters there. I think the Cargill. But for me, it was solid as well. You kind of you see the trailer, and that's exactly what you get. So I don't know what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting any more, but it's pretty straightforward in that sense. Excellent acting from the kid actors, right? When people say you need to get a better kid actor, these are the people they're talking about because they were really solid. Ethan Hawke, like I said, puts in a good performance. You've got two investigators, two police officers that kind of factor in here a little bit, and they do their jobs fine. But well directed, well shot. They have a lot of this vintage look to it. It kind of reminds me of Stranger Things in a way, maybe before Stranger Things in the sense that it's a period piece. It's in the past. I think like 90s, I don't know, 80? No.
I think late
70s. Yeah, we're going back even further than Stranger Things. And basically, yeah, like a stranger danger PSA, because you
need the buddy system.
You need the buddy system. You can't have people fucking picking up children. And frankly, his mask was creepy as fuck. Apparently, they modeled this mask on this guy. The mask was compared to Lon Chaney's character from London After Midnight. If you look at a picture, I'm gonna put the picture of this guy up. Yeah, okay, see it. It's his kind of creepy smile look.
Yeah, I like how he changed it up too.
He has different masks, and it's a multi-piece thing where he can change pieces because he fucked up in the head. All right, this is a fucking serial killer of children, and yeah. So overall, solid premise. But there was nothing that I would say that surprised me, or it wasn't overly gory. This is an R-rated film, but it didn't feel like it to me.
Was it?
It was like, yeah, this is R-rated, and it doesn't feel like it.
The girl definitely dropped way more than F.
The cursing.
It's a cursing.
There's cursing. That's ridiculous that you can't.
You get
curse.
one. You get one F-bomb in a PG-13 movie.
Exactly. And
They need to change that.
They do. As far as cursing goes, yeah, fuck that. We curse here all the fucking time, god dang it. But yeah, so you don't expect some big gore or anything. It's almost well enough to where you can kind of bring, I wouldn't bring kids, but just, teenagers. Yeah, something like that. So I wouldn't say it's overly scary. And I guess I was hoping for maybe a harder edge in some of it. Because it went pretty standard, but to me it did feel like a short story that was stretched a little bit for an entire film out of it.
This is a movie I think that you, if you see the trailer as often as you do, it's a huge disservice to the movie. I mean, we had seen this trailer dozens of times.
I think that's what
Saint
it
Maud
was.
is the only trailer that I've watched more than this one, and I just didn't even want to watch the movie, and I hear it's pretty good. I didn't even want to watch it because I saw it so much, and
kind of ruins it.
It's not the movie's fault itself. But if you haven't seen a ton of the trailers, I think you may find something that you like here.
Yeah,
even if seeing, I still liked it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and give this one some final verdicts.
Final verdicts. I'm going to go with an 8. This is pretty straightforward, like you said, but it was a great story. The star for me was actually Gwen, the little girl. She was a great performance. She pulled out a great performance. Ethan Hawke's amazing too. But it was great. 8.
Really creepy.
Yeah.
Ethan is
It's like me.
He says stuff to you, and you know motherfucker's lying. And on a whim, he's gonna change. But you never actually get that though, because the children who are giving him all the help are essentially giving him all the answers, and we're avoiding some of the harder stuff that all these other children went through. And so you have a nastier, crazier movie in your mind of what happened to these other kids, which is kept off screen. And it's kept a little bit of the tension was kind of taken away from me from there. But I mean, by the time the third act rolls around, it's there.
Yeah, this movie does a lot of like alluding to extreme violence without showing any of it, and I think one scene could have been appropriate in there to really like drive the point home, to really raise the tension. There's tension here, but like to really drive home that this kid is in danger. And so that could have been something that it prevented me from going into the 9 and 10 territory. I'm in the 7 or 8 territory. I think I'm going to go up to an 8. I think that it was just tense enough. I think the performances really sold this movie for me. I mean, all the little kids. I mean, the little girl, she was like riding around town, so she was small, medium, at large, right? Huh? Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so like I said, it's not anything new. Yeah. It's not breaking new molds or anything like that. But it's a solidly told story with some great acting in it, some great shots, and an interesting story. So I'm gonna go with a 7 out of 10. Thought it was solid. It's not one that I'll rewatch or anything like that. And as far as Blumhouse, since you brought it up, Joe, one of their better ones. Let's see, what else did they do?
Fantasy Island? Nah, get out of here.
Fucking Fantasy. I did not see Fantasy Island.
Insidious 2? No,
get the fuck out of here. The Purge, I guess the first one, maybe. Paranormal Activity.
Which one?
The marked ones. Ouya,
Upgrade.
The first Ouya sucked. They did do Ouya Origin of Evil. That was in 2016. That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Split. Then Blumhouse killed it in 2017 with Split, Get Out, and Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
All of those 3 were great.
Yeah, those were really good.
And then they went back to Insidious, Last Key, Truth or Dare, The First Purge. No. Halloween, solid. The first Halloween, Joe. You hated the second Halloween, right? And then 2019, Glass, Happy Death Day to You, Us, Ma, The Vigil. That was a good one. You need to see The Vigil.
Which was that one?
It's like a Jewish horror, where he tries to like watch over a body or something overnight, and it's crazy. Anyways, and then 2020 is when shit hit the fan for them because they had Fantasy Island. It was fucking
I saw it. It's
the
terrible.
Hunt you should have left. Craft the Legacy, Freaky. They did do Invisible Man on there, and then 2021 Forever Purge, Halloween Kills. Y'all would say though that's a shitty year. 2022 Our Father. Was that the one you were talking about, Joe? No, that's not that one because I just looked on the poster. I don't know what the fuck that is. American Netflix original documentary.
Oh, okay.
2023, they will be releasing Megan, science fiction horror.
All right, I like that.
Whoa. It looks like a robotic doll. That poster looks creepy. All right. Anyways, so just comparing it with some of the other Blumhouse,
This
since
is
they've
up
had a
there
bit of a reputation.
for right
I'm
now.
gonna agree with you. It's up there. Yeah, it's maybe not at the very top, but it's up there. All right, guys. We'll talk a little bit of spoilers. And for those of you who want it, for those of you who don't, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So, man, it sucks. These kids keep getting fucking abducted because they're cool ass kids. I fucking love all the kids.
Yeah.
And so it's horrible to think that, damn, man, these kids' lives were ended. The first one is this badass baseball player. You think he's gonna be a jerk about fucking, because our main character's the pitcher, and he's getting him strike one, strike two, and then he fucking hits a home run. And he's laughing and smiling about it. He's like, oh, we got a bully character here or something. But no, he's like, hey, man, your arm's a mint. You almost had me. And then they get a little connection there, and then he goes off. Unfortunately, that kid gets picked up by that black motherfucking van. And then we have another kid who actually beats up a previous bully who was bullying our main character as well.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, that kid is a good fighter or whatever. Shit.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he has skinny arms like me, he still beat the hell out of that kid.
Well, he likes watching Bruce Lee movies, and so Bruce Lee had skinny little arms too, and he beat the shit out of people.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. And so then unfortunately, this kid, even though he saves Finney, our main character, from some bullies, he eventually gets picked up. And so this town, I would have liked to have seen more of the town, like getting like, what the fuck? Like our children are fucked. Just more of a panic. You get it a little bit from the children in the school. They're a little aware of it. They're a little scared. But more would have been a little bit better. But luckily, Finney's sister is getting some visions. And she kind of shares these visions, and the police show up. And instead of thinking she's crazy, they roll with it. They're like, oh, okay, yeah. And then they come to her again.
Well, they thought she was crazy at first. They're like, look, you know a detail that we didn't release. Who in our department is leaking the information to you? And then she's like freaking out. She's like, no. And then she starts cursing at him. And she was great. She starts cursing like a sailor to these people.
Yeah. And then their home life, they go home after school every day. I mean, he doesn't get picked up immediately. It's several days of them just walking home.
Other kids getting abducted.
And it's just kind of well done. It's a hard life at home. Got an abusive father, unfortunately.
Alcoholic.
Those scenes, are fucking can trigger people, and you don't really see them in theaters anymore, and depicted in this way. But he's an alcoholic, abusive, and he starts beating up on Gwen because the police came to his fucking place, and I don't know, I guess he hates the police, and he just doesn't want her to end up like her mother, because apparently her mother had visions and ended up killing herself. And so he's a tortured character, kind of a piece of shit, but by the end, is asking for forgiveness, so at least there's that. Hopefully he stays on the up and up. But eventually, Finney, when that kid, what was his name? The fighter.
Robin?
Yeah, like Robin or something. When Robin gets kidnapped, those bullies go after Finney and just beat his ass. And of course, his sister, being the badass, sees it, shows up. It's a big fucking rock.
She smashes a kid's temple with a rock, and they're like, "Oh my god, is that kid gonna die?"
Blood.
I thought he was gonna die, and we'd have to have another subplot to deal with. But
yeah,
they survive. But anyway, Finney eventually gets picked up, and I don't know about you, but I wouldn't, if I was a kid, I wouldn't fucking help that guy. Motherfuckers when wearing white fucking face.
He was
paint.
a magician. Only people like him are getting picked up.
I was going to say, well, he did say
Joe,
he was
of course Joe would get picked up because he loves
man,
magic.
I want to see a magic trick.
Yeah.
And
Little
that's
Joe.
how I got abducted.
Yeah. He's lightweight. He's compact.
Okay,
he's getting picked. And like magicians, getting picked up.
Alex, would you get bit? I can't even see you as a child.
No, I was
Were
too
you
heavy.
the same size when
I
he
was tall, and I was also real heavy. Like, there's no way you're picking. You need a wheelbarrow. Like, you need to be a really big grabber to.
Really nice magic trick to knock you out. Okay. Well, like I said, I wouldn't fucking help that guy. Hey, give me my hat. Help me with my hat. Oh, I'm such a goof. Get the fuck out of here. I think. I don't want to fucking. Especially when all these kids are getting picked up. He kind of made a mistake. It's dumb, but he's a kid.
He's a kid.
Yeah. So he
Kid
immediately
stupid
grabs
things.
him, and this guy loves rockets. Finney loves rockets. He's got this little thing. He manages to scrape his arm, cause a big wound there. But the guy uses the black balloons in order to hide that he's capturing a kid and spray some shit in his mouth. It knocks him out and takes him. But interestingly enough, he's playing with him or saying he won't hurt him, and he's being fucking creepy and not killing him and not abusing him. And we're like, what is this? What's going on? He's like, things are complicated right now. I'm not doing anything to you. And it turns out the reason why?
Because Max is staying upstairs with him. His brother's in town because he lost his job, and so he can't really kill the kid right away and play with him and do all the fucked up things that he wanted to do.
Yeah,
so,
only when Max is away. And in this instance, Max actually is a funny character because he
loves cocaine.
He's on fucking cocaine, and the police are surveying door to door to try to figure out what's going on. And when they knock on his door, he's like, look, I got it all right here. So he's got this kid, and they got this kid. It's got to be somewhere in this area. And they're like, oh, fuck it, yeah, whatever. They should have listened to Max more. And it turns out...
Well, why would they listen to him? They're cops, and they see a whole bunch of coke on the table.
That's true. They did say, all right, you might want to clean up here before your brother comes up. The cops don't arrest him or anything, but all right, they're cool about it.
They don't want to fill out paperwork.
Right.
It's the 70s, man.
Yeah, everyone's doing coke. Disco is alive.
Yeah.
Right. And the camera pans down, and we get a scene of, wait a minute, is this a clever transition?
That's what
or
I
are
was
we
thinking.
in the same
I was
house?
Like, wait a minute. What's
We're in the
going
same
on?
house.
Is that his brother?
Yep.
What?
And you connected the two, and so that's why you can't do it. And anyways, the main drive of the film, the hook and the twist, is that there's this phone that's disconnected down there in this basement where there's only a toilet, some carpets, fucking bed. And this phone, and it starts ringing. First time he doesn't pick it up. It feels like it's ringing far away. And in fact, even our killer, the grabber, mentions that phone rings. I've heard it ring before. I guess it's static electricity. No, man. But he picks it up and never hears anything. But the little kid does. And do you think this is kind of referencing why? Why did this happen? Was this a possession, a poltergeist events, the ghosts wanting revenge on the kid? That's very clear. But why didn't some of the other kids hear that on the phone, or did they?
Their mom wasn't a medium.
Exactly. So then it turns out that not only does the sister have these clairvoyant powers, but also the brother, and that he has a connection to the other world kind of thing, and he's able to hear. And this is where you get some jump scares. I forgot to mention this in the actual review. This film has a lot of jump scares, but they weren't annoying to me. They were, it's like standard jump scare stuff.
They weren't cheap.
They weren't,
Yeah.
We constantly shit on cheap jump scares for no fucking reason.
Like,
These ones, they fit the scene. They build up appropriately. They're tense. And, it was good.
They worked. And they were mostly like dead fucking kids. One that was really creepy that they could have ran with was the dripper.
Yes.
That
like, holy shit.
It was not as scary as it could have been, but it was scary. And the concept of here is even scarier if they wanted to run with it. But they didn't run with it. Yeah, so at one point he's, calling, learning all these strategies, but nothing's working. And one kid, the phone rings and nobody is talking. So I thought that this kid had his throat fucking slashed or something. And he's looking in the corner with his little flashlight, and he sees a kid floating
upside
down, like laying, and then just his blood is dripping from his head and neck. Wow. So when I said there was no hard edge, I guess there are a few things that it's hard. I guess I've seen some fucked up shit.
This is just abbreviated.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really.
They didn't really
harping on
play it too hard.
Yeah, I think if you go for the R rating, you could have gone
more.
And I don't mean like we need to see disemboweled children, but I mean they could have done something just a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe with attacking the. Well, we eventually do get that. Okay, so we get that. What other things? So he's talking with the previous people he met. The baseball player, his bully fighter friend that he met, and even some kids that he's never met.
The town psychopath was a real big
pinball
one.
wizard that got pissed off when somebody slammed into his pinball.
He was about to break his high score.
Yeah.
You
know,
don't
there's
fuck
some
with the
creative scenes in here, and his sister actually links into this particular scene because this spirit or whatever is reliving his trauma, because as he's doing a recreation of his past and he fights this guy, he actually carves into this guy who interrupted his paintball game the number of the house that he's buried in. So I'm assuming that did not happen when he originally beat up the guy. But because it's being replayed as, when people say traumatic events happen and the ghostly apparitions, there's repetition. So that's creative. It just, it's like a 7. I want that 10.
Yeah, you just wanted more. You're like, okay,
I
let's,
don't know what
let's
it
harbor
is.
more on this, or maybe
emphasize it more. It's difficult for me to put it. It's there and it's done well. Just emphasize it more. So anyway, her sister is figuring out all these, like looking door to door, and I'm like, man, this is a good sister. You want that kind of sister. Like she's constantly out there trying to figure things out, even asking her fucking asshole father for help, and that takes a lot of courage because he says.
She was endangering her own life. He was drunk as fuck, and then he starts driving around town. It's like, girl, wear your seatbelt because you're going to die.
Right. But eventually, with a combination of advice from the last phone call, which is his bully fighting friend, it says, pack the phone with some dirt, step back, or you step back, step forward, then step back again, and then fight. I don't know why there's 2 steps, but okay.
It's the feint. Yeah, it's just
the feint.
Yeah. And then what was kind of cool is the final fight, you're like, well, fuck, Kid 1 didn't do anything for you. Kid 2 didn't do anything for you because he's trying all these things and fail. And when the final fight, he uses a piece from every single one of them and would not succeeded without all of their advice. Kid 1 has him try to dig his way out, and it ultimately becomes like a punji pit that he puts him in. And then so there's this build up of
when
tools.
You talk about it works. I mean, on paper, this thing is awesome. Yeah, and it is felt, and you kind of I like it more when we're talking about it because you're right. All the little individual elements add up, and he's at one point frustrated. And he's a kid, remember? He gets frustrated. He just fucking cries, and you feel it. It's like that desperation. It's like I've tried everything. I even have fucking
he's so
ghosts
close to
helping
getting
me.
out, but he can't get out.
But there's some motherfuckers like Guyver because he was like finding like little. He needed a screwdriver.
So you got to
apart
wash
the toilet, got a washer, and got the smells.
I would have grabbed that top and just waited for him. Pop.
There you go.
Well,
Joe.
also a T-bone steak, like if you remove the meat, that's
weapons
real
everywhere.
dangerous.
Be like
these
Wolverine.
guys. They're on,
well, this is why no one
I'd
kidnaps
be
me.
dead already. What I would have done? I would have done basically what he was doing. Try to get out the window. Can't get through the window. It's too tall. And then there's essentially metal bars, which eventually one of the kids tells him how to get out. But can't really use that. So, yeah, eventually the brother, as he's doing coke, comes to the realization simultaneously as his sister has a realization and through a dream of where it is. She knows which house. She calls the police and tells them. We get this scene, the final act. The police are rushing there. The brother, Max, realizes, wait a minute. It seems like it could be our house. Maybe my brother's doing this, and
my brother's been acting weird.
He doesn't want to open the door. Decides not to open the door, but then comes back. And this is all the same time where the kid's ready to do. I'm like, oh, he's gonna hit his brother. He's gonna hit Max with the phone. That's what I thought.
Nah, because he was too far back.
Right, and the door creaks open, and it's Max. He's like, oh my God, what the fuck? I didn't think this. Just stay there. Don't worry, he's not here. And I'm like, okay, nope. You know that wasn't. You weren't getting out of that.
He had a little accident.
Yep.
Yeah. His brother shows up last minute, axes him in the head. His whole head kind of goes down, falls over. He's like, look what you made me do. You made me kill my brother. And this motherfucker is crazy. He's like, I'm going to kill you slow now. I'm going to take my time.
I normally use a knife, but now I'm going to really take my time. And he brings the dog down, which that's a good. Everyone's like, that dog's scary. I want that dog.
Fuck yeah.
That dog is amazing.
That dog was fucking scary.
No.
It was yeah, you don't want to just, you don't want to.
You could ride that dog into battle.
So he uses all of what he's learned and all the tools here. Initially fights him, gets some good licks on him, but is running. And he's coming after him. And this is a much bigger adult man who has the strength, but he uses the cord to trip him. And he falls into the fucking hole that one of the kids, had him dig, even though he was trying to dig completely out, but all of it worked. And then through that, he was able to use the phone again to kind of just punch him.
Beat the shit out of him after he
ripped his mask off, and like the mask becomes. You realize that the mask is super, super important to him. That he's fucked up in the head because once he rips his mask off, he does the
covers.
Give me back my face.
Why was he capturing all these kids? A part of his fucked up fantasy, which is Naughty Boy, where he purposefully leaves this door open, and I would have been like, "Oh fuck, I'm going up." And
every kid did.
You don't want to do that. Because then he's up there already with a belt, with a different mask, and he's like, "Oh, you naughty boy."
The sad daddy mask. And,
yeah, because that's what I thought. He didn't kill him so fast because he wasn't playing the game that he wanted.
That's another reason. It's multiple reasons why. Yeah,
he's like, no,
to give him all this time.
That's how he gets his jolly. He's just like, no.
First he beats you up, and then he does the bad thing, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's the bad thing?" And he's like, "Oh, you don't like the bad thing."
Yeah, though I was confused because I thought one of the kids told him you need to play the game, but if you play the game, you're going to lose. And you're gonna get beat up, so I don't know why one of the
drippy kid said you're not playing the game, and if you don't play the game, he's gonna end it because he wants to move on to the next game.
I think his point was that you're running out of time, and then eventually he's gonna get sick of this bullshit and play the game. So I thought he was gonna play the game, but he never really plays the game. Instead, he learns the combination from the drip kid and manages to get out of the house, but he did not run fast enough. Did not run smart enough. He's running in a straight line through a fucking street, not screaming, not yelling, help.
He's tired and malnourished. He was screaming. He was screaming.
Okay, because the neighbors did turn their lights on.
Yeah, because he's like,
but
help.
Motherfucker gets in his black van and fucking cuts him off and puts a knife to him and says, if you do it, I'm going to gut you. So he manages to get him back in the house.
I'm going to gut you like a pig and strangle you with your intestines.
Yep.
Sadistic.
Yeah. But eventually, like we said, the brother discovers him, gets axed in the head. He does all the combination of things to get out. And the police show up because his sister did get the right address. In fact, that's where you see the trailer shot of all the dead kids while she's riding in the rain. And it turns out the house is right there. However, it's not the right house. It is the right house, but it's not the right house because there's the basement. And you keep thinking these two scenes will intersect, but they don't because the basement is filled with dead bodies, buried. And it's actually the house across the street that he actually just comes walking out because he did it himself, God damn it. And he got revenge for all of those kids that were killed in the house. Revenge for his friends. They didn't die in vain. He fucking killed him because his arm was mint. Right?
He breaks his ankle. He strangles him. He puts the phone to his head so the dead kids can all talk to him while he's dying. And then he snaps his neck. It's like,
that's
what
you get.
So yeah, that's why we said solid horror movie. Good acting, good cinematography. It was good. So it is going to be on Peacock 45 days after its theatrical debut. Who the fuck has Peacock, though? I looked it up to try to see if it would be free 45 days. Maybe you can wait for that, but it's not. You have to pay for the fucking Peacock subscription service to get that. And apparently that's what it's going to be moving forward. All Universal films are going to be on Peacock Premium after 45 days. If it was free, sweet. Yeah. Sure, I'll download Peacock. Otherwise, I don't fucking need fucking Peacock.
Well, it's only if you want to watch Office for the 40th time. That's what Netflix, like most watched thing, and so Peacock's like, fuck Netflix. We need people to watch Office on our service.
Right. That's the least interesting streaming service currently. But if you want a solid horror film and you like these types, go check out The Black Phone. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.